Hello, everybody. It is October 10th.
No, it's not. It's almost November. Sorry the video is so super late, everybody. Everything is explained in the lack of videos explanation video. But hey, better late than never.
This is going to be the collection update for July, August, and September. So we're going to have 3 months worth of stuff here. We have a pretty big collection update here for you. There's 3 months worth of stuff, so it's going to be pretty big. So sit down and relax, because this is probably going to be a long video. We got a little bit of everything other than like posters and wall scrolls. We got video games, DVDs, well, it's really all Blu-rays, and a bunch of CDs. We're going to start off with the Blu-rays, though. First up, we actually have a documentary that Crystal and I have seen most of. That is Born to be Wild. It's actually an IMAX movie that we actually saw up in Seattle.
Yeah, at the IMAX theater in the Science
Center. So, funny story about this. The reason I bought this is because we actually never saw the whole thing, because when we were sitting down in the IMAX theater, the fire alarm went off and cut the movie off, and then they basically offered us a free ticket to a later showing, but we weren't going to be there at that point, so we just kind of left. And we kind of wanted to see the rest of it. We were all really disappointed that we couldn't see the whole thing, because we were probably at least halfway through it.
Yeah.
I would want to think, because this documentary is only about 41 minutes long. So I literally bought a Blu-ray to see half of a documentary, which is pretty funny. But yeah, basically the documentary is about two different women who basically have animal sanctuaries in two different countries. There's a lady in Africa, I can't remember what country exactly, that has an elephant sanctuary where she raises baby elephants that's parents were basically hunted or died. She helps raise them. And then there's another lady in Borneo, Indonesia, that helps with orangutans, doing essentially the same thing. This documentary is actually from 2011, so it is decently old. So I don't even know if these two women are even alive now.
I don't know. They might still be doing the same thing.
I don't know. But, I mean, period, even if they are dead, it looks like the people that worked for them probably carried it on either way. But this is a really cool... What we have seen was really neat, and eventually we will watch this all the way through. But really cool. It's cool to have, though. And then next up, we have a movie that both of us wanted to see when it came out, but we never did. And we were able to find this Blu-ray for really cheap. It's actually Hardcore Henry, a nice little like first-person action movie.
Yeah.
Basically filmed as if the camera is the person, basically. So, you know, I know nothing about the movie because I haven't seen it. And
I've seen the trailers and stuff.
The trailers look really neat.
But I don't know anything. I don't know if the movie itself is good or not.
But it looks completely first person. I don't know. This Blu-ray was really cheap, and we got it on sale with another Blu-ray you'll see here in a bit. We saw it and we're like, ooh, let's pick up that. So... yeah, it was really cool. Eventually we will watch this, though. And then next up, we actually have an anime Blu-ray. It is actually the second Digimon Adventure Tri movie, Determination. There are actually going to be 6 Digimon Adventure Tri movies. The third one comes out in December, so I anticipate that. I haven't watched this either. I still have yet to watch the first one. I need to, because it has the entire original cast. Well, not the entire original cast, just most of it. But really cool to have this. I look forward to finally watching this. It's really cool to have a piece of my childhood coming back. Moving on, we have more anime. It is actually... I finally picked this up. It's the second new Dragon Ball Z movie, Resurrection F. I just thought it was Resurrection of F, but apparently it's just Resurrection F. Obviously, if you know Dragon Ball Z... Frieza's revived. Haven't seen this because I still haven't seen Battle of Gods, but it's kind of a continuation of certain characters and stuff in that, or from that. Another movie I'm really looking forward to seeing when I can. I do need to see Super because I haven't watched that, because the first 2 seasons apparently are dedicated to, or at least the first 2 arcs are dedicated to the first 2 movies, which I find weird that they start a series after them. Whatever. You know, it's just weird. But really cool. It's really cool. Can't wait to watch this, though. Moving on, we actually have the other Blu-ray that we got with Hardcore Henry on sale, and it's a movie that...
oh, I've seen this movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie that I know very little about. I know only the trailers, so. It's actually Neighbors with Zac Efron and Seth Rogen. To my knowledge, and Crystal can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like, isn't it a guy and his wife and their kid move in next door to basically a frat house?
Basically, yeah, but the movie isn't the generic, like, you know how you think, he doesn't like him, he doesn't like him, they're gonna fight, it's gonna be a misunderstanding, and then they're gonna make up, blah, 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 and learn. The movie's nothing like that. It takes a twist.
I haven't seen this, but Crystal
I
has.
saw it a long time ago. I think the movie's like, what, 5 years old now or something?
2014, 3 years old.
Oh, 3.
There is also a second one, but apparently this movie's better than it looks, so I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a dumb movie, but it's really not.
But yeah, really good, really good. Moving on, we have a series of movies that I've been told were very good, and I finally was able to find them in a little dual pack thing. First up, we have 21 Jump Street, the remake, with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. First off, before I even say anything about this movie and what, if you know, is coming next, I was not a fan of Channing Tatum at all before this. I just couldn't stand him as an actor. After this movie, I respect him a lot more because this movie is really funny. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say it's witty humor, but it's just ridiculous, over the top humor. I don't know. I don't quite know how to explain it.
It's not a witty movie. It's more like,
It's just ridiculous.
yeah.
Is what it is. So basically, it can't. I'm not really going to ruin any of the plot of this movie, but it was way better than I expected it to be, and my friends have told me that it was.
Yeah,
really,
it's basically
really good.
like how you feel about this 21 Jump Street movie is how I felt about the Neighbors movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, I thought it was gonna be dumb, but it ended out being actually a good movie.
Well, no, I was told it was good, so I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite as good as it was. So obviously, if you know what's coming, there's also, the sequel, 22 Jump Street, which I wouldn't say is, I don't know, it feels about the same. I wouldn't say it's worse or better than the first movie. I feel like they're about the same.
I feel like I like the 21 Jump Street more.
Okay. But they were both very, very good and funny. Definitely some really good comedy movies. Without ruining too much of the plot, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum's characters are cops. And they basically go back to school twice. And the ending credits for the second movie are hilarious because it's just, they continuously parody themselves.
You didn't even tell the plot. They're not cops going to school.
Yeah, they are.
That implies
Essentially,
they're undercover cops
going to
investigating at a school by being the students at the school
twice.
Twice.
Okay.
You're saying it like they're cops going to cop school or something.
But they are cops going to cop school.
I mean,
21 Jump Street.
oh my god.
Vietnamese Jesus. By the way, these movies are memes. My name Jeff.
It's from 22 Jump Street.
Yeah. So, anyway, really good movies, actually. Both very good. Moving on, we have the second movie in a series that I have been meaning to get. And I actually have the first one. And I got it a long time ago. And I was finally able to get the second one because my mom had an extra copy. So I actually got this for free. It is the second Hobbit movie, The Desolation of Smaug. Yes, second Hobbit movie. There is a third one, Battle of Two Armies. I've only actually seen the first Hobbit. So I don't have a lot to say about this. If you look at the Blu-ray, it's a little beat up. I don't know why. My mom didn't have an answer for why it was all beat up. But have you seen any of the Hobbit movies, Crystal?
No.
Okay.
I've only seen the Lord of the Rings movies.
Okay, same. Well, I mean, I've seen the first Hobbit. I saw it in theaters. Really cool to have this because I've heard the Hobbit movies are actually really, really good. So, we'll see. And then, finally, we have a movie that I've wanted to see for a long time. And I never actually saw it in theaters. I'm really sad about that. But I was able to get it on Blu-ray like the day or the day after it came out. That is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Absolutely adored Guardians of the Galaxy. It's probably my favorite Marvel movie. It might be one of my favorite movies ever made, to be completely honest. It's really funny and witty, and it's a part action, and they meld everything together really, really well. And I was really excited when they announced the second one, and all the trailers had me so hyped. And, I can say that I don't think it's as good as the first one, but it's still a really, really good and really solid movie. A lot of people told me this movie was funnier. I wouldn't even say it was. I still think it was a good movie, but I don't necessarily think it was funnier. I mean, there wasn't a lot of ha-ha humor on it for me. There was some that just made me smile. There were a couple funny points that made me laugh pretty hard, but you know, it's overall a really good movie, though. I was entertained the whole time. And fun fact about this, I actually went to Germany a couple months ago, and I had the opportunity to watch this on the plane, and when I tried to watch it, the freaking the little screen thing froze up on me, so I couldn't watch it. So I just kind of gave up. And I could have seen it. So I actually watched somebody in front of me watch the whole movie without sound. So, yeah. That, and I had certain things ruined for me when the movie came out, but that's okay. Crystal has not seen this or the first one. I will someday sit her down and make her watch these because at least the first one is amazing. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just so many Marvel movies coming out all the time. I get fatigued.
yeah, I like Marvel, so it
I
doesn't
like
really
them.
bother
It's just
me.
there's so many.
Yeah, well, they're creating a universe.
I know,
So-
but it's like every month I gotta freaking.
No, it's like 2 or 3 a year, Crystal.
It's not 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I swear
yeah.
they put a movie out like every few months.
Yeah, there's 12 months a year. If there's 3 a year, that's 1 every 4 months. Really great movie. I love it. It's good. But that is it for the Blu-rays. We move on to video games now.
Yay! Bum, 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 bum.
First up, I actually have, I don't really want to call this an accessory, but it's something really cool I found at Goodwill, actually. It's a black nunchuck.
Of course.
And it works just fine.
Yeah, it was like, what, $2?
It was something like that, $2 or $3. And it looks like it still has the tag and everything, and it looks almost brand new, like somebody barely used it. So, yeah, really cool to have this. It's really cool. But we go on to the actual games. There's a few. Also, at the end of this section, there's going to be quite a bit of special stuff. So starting off with some, I guess you can call it retro stuff. We actually have, this is the Crash Bandicoot Action Pack. So we'll take it out of the box and I'll show you each individual game that is in here. It comes with Crash Nitro Kart, which is basically the sequel to Crash Team Racing. It literally looks exactly the same. Just by looking at it, everything looks the same except a little bit better graphics.
Yeah, I've never played that. I never played any of these games.
I believe I played this a little bit with my stepbrother because he had this. I don't remember too much about it though, but I did want this game because it was basically the sequel to Crash Team Racing, and I really enjoyed Crash Team Racing. So, originally I was just going to buy this at the store we bought it at, but they had this pack, and the guy dropped it like $3, $4, $5 for all 3 of them, and I'm like, fine, just do it, whatever. So I did. And then also it comes with Crash Twinsanity, which in
I heard that.
my opinion is the last good Crash Bandicoot game until they remade the original trilogy.
Well, there's a.
Because it still follows the traditional format of Wampa Fruit and collecting stuff, but it's got a little bit of differences. Like it seems like kind of open when I started the game up, but like open world-ish when I started the game up, but you know, it's not the later games. So Crystal obviously has something to say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I heard this game was pretty good, but there's some Crash Bandicoot game on the Game Boy Advance that's pretty good. Not the freaking Spyro Crash one, but there's another one.
Oh, the Huge Adventure probably.
I don't know which one it is.
Or
but
is that
people are-
Spyro? I don't know. But anyway, there was one more game that it came with, and one that I've heard actually isn't that great, but you know, it doesn't matter. I wanted Twinsanity and Nitro Kart. That is another Crash Bandicoot racing game. This is Crash Tag Team Racing. Made by Sierra, actually, which is pretty cool. Basically, to me, since obviously with the name Tag Team Racing, the first thing I want to think, because it came out in 2005, is that this is just their attempt to cash in on Double Dash Mario Kart. But that could just be me. I don't know a lot about this one. I never played it, so I don't have a lot to say, unfortunately. Really cool to have these, and they came in a nice little outer shell box that I'll probably take and put on my shelf or something. Really cool, though. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. I pretty much have all the Crash Bandicoot games I want now, so. But now the next 3 games are all PS4 games, so we're moving on up in the PS4 collection. First up, we actually have a game that's been out for quite a while, but my friend Phoenix got, so I decided to buy it because I wanted another game in this, I guess, franchise, because I have wanted to get all of them for a while, so I just bought this. This is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. This game came out in 2015, I think, maybe. So I think it's actually 2 years old. Fortunately, there's no date on the back here, so I don't know. But it's definitely different than any Dragon Ball Z game I've played, or Dragon Ball period. You kind of create your own character. I have played it a little bit, and it's pretty good. I've played it online with my friend Phoenix also. It's pretty entertaining. I still don't think it's as good as Budokai Tenkaichi 3, maybe even Raging Blast. I don't know yet, because I haven't really fought character versus character, so I don't really know. But, you know, it looks nice, I can say that, and it's Dragon Ball, so it's nice to add that to the collection. Yeah, really cool. Then next up, we actually have a game that I bought pretty much new right when it came out, because I wanted another game in this series. Plus, it actually had a story mode, so I was really hyped for that to play it. It's actually Madden 18. Now, the story mode long shot, I had seen videos of and like live streams of people playing, and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. You play through like a kid playing in college and stuff, or a kid that left college and he's trying to get into the NFL, and I'm like, oh, you'll get to play his career and all that stuff, and it'll be really cool. No, it's definitely went a different direction than I was expecting, and the game's only like 3 hours long, so 3 or 4 hours or something like that. So, or maybe it's like you could sit down and beat the thing in a day if you try hard enough. Less than a day, like one sitting, basically, like maximum 6 hours, honestly. So, you know, I was kind of disappointed by that. Otherwise, it is kind of cool to have another Madden game. Unfortunately, I don't really have anybody that plays this, so I can't really play it with anybody. I don't know how much I'll actually play this. You know, it's nice to have, though, because it's Madden. And Madden isn't usually too terrible of a game. They just kind of, it's definitely better than a lot of other sports games. They at least try to change certain aspects as opposed to just releasing the same thing over and over again. Really cool though, Madden. And then the last video game here is actually Crystal's. She bought this herself because she's a huge Final Fantasy fan. It is actually the Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster. I have the originals on PS2, so I had really no plans on buying this, but I guess Crystal really likes these games and she wanted to play them. So she probably wanted to play them again. I'll let her talk.
Oh, I don't really have that much to say. It's just I beat Final Fantasy X a long time ago in, like, I want to say 2008. I beat it before I beat Kingdom Hearts 2. I just wanted to get the remasters because I had a lot of good memories with Final Fantasy X.
I've heard 10.
And I didn't really I played 10 too a little bit, and it's okay.
I've heard 10 was one of the best Final Fantasies as a whole, honestly. Like, I hear when it comes to Final Fantasies, it's like the older ones, like super old, like Super Nintendo, NES.
It's either 4 or 6. I can't remember.
It's 4 or 6, and then 7, 8.
7, 8, 10,
and then 10.
12. They just keep.
No, it's really just 7, 8.
Well, 12 is okay. Like,
it's really 7, 8, and then this one, and then I heard 13 was pretty good.
It depends on what you define as good.
Well, they made 3 of them, so.
So?
I don't know, I just assumed that it sold well enough for them to make 3.
Dude, okay, so for Final Fantasy 13, the first game was full price, like 40 whatever dollars for a PS3 game, right?
Yeah.
And then when Final Fantasy 13-2 came out, I bought it about a month after it came out, and I bought it for like $10.
Oh wow, that's weird.
It was $10 regular price.
Wow, new?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know, but hey, it's Final Fantasy, and Crystal will enjoy this definitely. Now she actually has her own PS4 game finally, so yay.
Yay.
But
I'll play it eventually.
Yeah, but that's it for the actual video games. There are a few extra special things that I got. So we'll start off with the random video game associated things that we have. We're actually going to start with this, and it's wrapped in plastic because I don't think I'm going to take it out of the plastic. I don't know why, but I just have no desire to use this at all. But it's actually a Sheikah Slate notepad from Breath of the Wild. My coworker actually got this in his loot crate, his gaming loot crate, and he gave it to me. So that's really cool because it literally looks like the Sheikah Slate from Breath of the Wild. I mean, kind of as good as they're gonna get. It looks really nice. It's really high quality, you can tell, but it's a notepad, so really cool to have that. I think I'll display that because it just looks really nice, and I don't want to ruin it. So. And then this is actually something Crystal brought with her when she moved here. You know, it's she can explain what this is.
Yeah, it's for Final Fantasy's 25th anniversary. I bought it at a convention in Virginia. It's an anime convention. Omega Con. I don't know if they still exist, because that was like the first time they ever had their convention when I went.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're still a thing or not. But I bought this for $25 because it's the 25th anniversary. Yeah, because I love Final Fantasy and I love chocobos, and this is, I guess, supposed to be the chocobo from the Chocobo Dungeon games, if anybody knows what those are. But I think this is supposed to be that same chocobo from like the Chocobo Dungeon series, and him holding the birthday cake, being all cute and stuff. But yeah, it was just adorable, and I just had to have it.
It looks really nice. It's definitely high quality. It looks like it's legit from Square Enix too.
Yeah, because they had it on their website, but I never bought it.
And it's obviously, you got Japanese on the tag and stuff, but this is legit from Square Enix, so it's like official and everything. So this is really, really cool, and I'm gonna again display this. I have to. That's really nice. And for the record, Crystal, I did look up the convention. It still exists.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we move on to some amiibo now. We start off with some new ones that came out in, I believe these came out in July. It's actually the, well, we'll start with this is the Bayonetta amiibo. You know, Bayonetta was the last DLC character for Super Smash, so we were obviously anticipating, you know, them coming out, but then they're like, oh yeah, this is going to have two of them. And so I also got Bayonetta Player 2, which was a Best Buy exclusive. I pre-ordered both of these and the next one you'll see here at Best Buy. Really, really nice. They're definitely high quality, decent looking. Like, this is Bayonetta from the original Bayonetta, and this is Bayonetta from Bayonetta 2. So they're both really nice looking. Bayonetta, I still need to play the first game. I have it for the 360, yeah. And the second game is getting harder to find for the Wii U, so I don't know if I'll ever actually play that, but if I can find it somewhere, I'll definitely pick it up. But definitely really interesting games, kind of in the style of Devil May Cry, so they're really, really good. And these just look nice, and it's nice to have amiibo, because I have a problem when it comes to these things. You should see my display shelf, seriously. And then the next amiibo I got was actually, and with the Bayonetta amiibos, was the Cloud amiibo. This is him in his, that's his normal attire, right? Yeah, that's his Final Fantasy VII attire.
The purple one's the Final Fantasy one.
I have very
the black one is the
very little knowledge. Yeah,
one.
I have very little knowledge of Final Fantasy, honestly. I have a few of the games, but this one, Cloud also had two released. And the Player 2 amiibo is, like she was saying, in his Advent Children costume. But that was a GameStop exclusive, and it sold out everywhere. I couldn't find it at all. So I hope to find that eventually, because there's been some amiibos that I've miraculously been able to find. So I'm going to assume at some point in the future I can find it. There was also another amiibo released at the same time, Corrin from Fire Emblem. I can't even remember if that's a male or a female, number one, but they, because I'm not going to assume it's male or female, I'm not going to assume it's gender, haha. They had two amiibos released as well, and the Player 2 amiibo was an Amazon exclusive, because Nintendo's doing this weird crap again. But yeah, really nice to have Cloud. I wish I would have been able to get the second one, but I couldn't even pre-order it, so it was a mess. It sold out way too fast. And then finally, the last amiibo we have here is another amiibo I didn't think I'd find this as soon as I did, and it actually basically completes the collection of these amiibos for now until the next 4 come out in November. I finally found the Twilight Princess Link amiibo, which was a GameStop exclusive and sold out within an instant when it was announced. So, a lot of these harder to find amiibos I've been able to get because there is a basically an amiibo Twitter I follow. It's called Amiibo News. Go follow it. It's really handy for amiibos. It basically tells you, hey, it's for U.S. people, pretty much, for people in the U.S., but it'll link to like out-of-country websites that will ship to the U.S. for you, and then whenever like a company puts their stock back up, or basically puts amiibos back up for sale, like GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart or Target or Amazon, they'll basically tweet it out and say, hey, these are available, get them while you can. That's how I got the Guardian. It's how I got the Guardian from Breath of the Wild, yeah. It's how I got Zelda from Breath of the Wild. It's how I got Skyward Sword Link. I believe it's how I got Majora's Mask Link, and then this. And then I believe it's technically how I got Bayonetta Player 2, partially. Basically all of the 3. No, I pre-ordered those in it. And then, there's the 4 Breath of the Wild Champion amiibos, and I think that's how I got them pre-ordered as fast as I did. So I will be getting all 4 of those. Still, really cool to have Twilight Princess Link. It is my favorite game. So this was the one I wanted the most, and it was really upsetting when I couldn't get it. But it is really nice to have finally. And I have all the Zelda amiibos again for now, until they bring out the champion ones. They are, it looks like, at least a couple of the Zelda amiibos, the anniversary Zelda amiibos, are going to be re-released. I saw 8-Bit Link, Wind Waker Link by himself as opposed to in the dual pack with Zelda, and then I think it was Majora's Mask Link are going to be reprinted. So hey, that's pretty cool. But I mean, I already have them all, so I'm not too worried about it. I'd like to see Skyward Sword get reprinted because it's all bent up, but oh well. But that is it for the video games. We will go on to CDs now. Now, this is 3 months worth of CDs. So for the record, before I start, in August, at the beginning of August, for 2.5 weeks, I went to Germany to go to Wacken. So I bought a bunch of CDs there. Now, I mean a bunch of CDs there. And then they basically announced the roster for next year's Prog Power, and I'm going because I don't want to miss that ever again. So I started buying CDs for that, plus I picked up a couple extra ones, and Crystal bought this first CD here. So basically it's 3 months worth of CDs. I will point out where everything was bought, and we will actually start off with 2, I guess, classic CDs, I'm going to call them. First up, we actually have some more Judas Priest. This is Screaming for Vengeance. One of Judas Priest's most popular albums. I think it is actually, by sales, their most popular album. It's either this or British Steel.
I feel like it's British Steel.
This is the album with You've Got Another Thing Coming and Electric Eye on it. So it is one of their bigger albums. This is the remaster from, I don't know, 2001. They did actually do a 30th anniversary one, but it wasn't really important to get that. Crystal actually bought this at a used CD store because she really likes Judas Priest too, and I've been on a Judas Priest kick lately. Now, I still think my favorite albums of theirs that I've heard so far, and I haven't heard all their albums, but I still think my favorite albums of theirs are Painkiller and Angel of Retribution. This was good though. It was definitely better than Hellbent for Leather. So or whatever that one is. Can't remember
British
the actual.
Steel?
No, Hellbent for Leather, or the album Hellbent for Leather is on. It's not British Steel. British Steel is.
Oh, is it Hellbent
Breaking
for
Law.
Leather?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because
But-
it's another name in Britain.
Yeah, it's Killing Fields. There's Killing
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
Mother something. But songs on this album I like. The Hellion is basically an intro to Electric Eye. I believe Take These Chains is good. You Got Another Thing Coming, obviously, is good. But, this is a really good classic album. I will buy more Judas Priest. There's still quite a few albums I want to get. I like the cover, though.
Yeah.
It's really cool, like a mechanical eagle. So.
They have mechanical everything on their
I know.
covers.
But then next up in the classic department, we have another all-time classic, I guess you'd say thrash metal album. Got more Metallica finally. It's Master of Puppets, their third album. Again, one of their really most popular albums because of the title track.
Yeah.
But I actually got this at Best Buy when we bought some of those Blu-rays. It was like $5, and I've been wanting more Metallica, so I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. I can say I like this album better than Ride the Lightning. I think it's a lot better. Because, let's see, what on here that I like? Well, Battery, Master of Puppets,
Oh no.
Welcome Home, Sanitarium, Disposable Heroes is really good. But what's really funny about this album is, first of all, The Thing That Should Not Be is based on H.P. Lovecraft. It's a Cthulhu song, basically. A couple of their songs, early songs, are really heavily based on that, like this and Call of Cthulhu from the last album from Ride the Lightning. And then Disposable Heroes is actually about basically it's a political war song kind of thing. But I like this album a lot. I need to get more Metallica, definitely, because there's still a couple albums I want to get of theirs. Really good to have another Metallica. I definitely need to get more of them. Definitely. Then we go on to I don't want to say this is all modern stuff, but it's not in the classic metal / rock department. So I guess it is semi-modern.
Well, if I consider modern anything from 2005 and up.
Okay, so
No, 2000 and up.
I
is
guess the
modern.
last two albums here are going to be more classic, but in the genres of music that I listen to, so when it comes to like prog and power metal. But anyway, so we start off with an album I actually got in Germany. And there'll be a reoccurring theme here that I will discuss over and over again with a lot of these Germany CDs. But this is actually, it is Ambien, their only album, Fate of a Dreamer. Now Ambien is actually Arjen Lucanson, the guy who does basically the genius, in my opinion, behind Arion and a couple other things. This is a side project of his with this woman who, at the time of this this CD, was like 17, I believe. And Ambien is it's a combination of ambient and Arion, so it's basically reworked Arion songs, and I guess there's a lot of really weird ambient points. Now, I got this CD in Germany because in America, because I've done my research with CDs I want, in America, this CD is really expensive. It's like you're going to be paying
More than 40?
you're going to be paying more than a price of a new CD in a store. So like more than $20 for the CD. And so at that point I paid, well, I didn't pay for any of these, to be honest, but I paid less than that in euros. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm picking it up. Honestly, this CD did kind of disappoint me. It wasn't all that great. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't remember any songs on here that specifically stuck out to me.
Wait, is this the album I listened to with you?
It's one of them.
Because I think this is the one where I got irritated at the ambient
No.
noise or something.
No, that's later.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But this album is from 2001. It's pretty hard to find. It's cool to have. It's a nice little piece of Arian's history. And it's not terrible. It's just nothing particularly stuck out to me. But the chick who sang on this, Astrid
Wait, is that
Vanderveen.
her on the cover?
I think so. I don't know. But
Oh.
Astrid Vanderveen, she basically quit the music business until just recently. Yeah, I think it is her. And she just kind of started making music again like last year. So, You know, it's not terrible, but again, really cool to have a CD that's hard to find. But next up, we actually have a Prog Power band next year. It's actually the opening band on Friday, and that is actually Manimal. I love that name. This is their newest album, Trapped in the Shadows. I believe these guys have played Wacken as well. Now I like the description on this little sticker here. It says the heavy power metal merging Painkiller from Judas Priest with the best of Queensryche. No, I'm just gonna. I can completely say after listening to this album, disregard the Queensryche, because literally every song makes me think Judas Priest. I never once thought, oh, this sounds like Queensryche. But this album, I basically bought it because it sounded really good from the sample that they played when they revealed all the bands they're playing. It was pretty good. The singer for this band has a crazy falsetto voice. He can sing incredibly high. But let's see. Songs I like here: Irresistible, Trapped in the Shadows is really good. I'd say Invincible, and then Psychopomp is really good. I absolutely love this cover though, a lot. But really solid, like Judas Priest style metal. These guys are probably gonna rock the house in Atlanta when I see them. So very, very good, very good. Then we go on to another Prog Power band next year. They are opening Thursday night. It is a band called Cellar Darling. This is their debut album, This Is the Sound. So, just for the record, this album and the last album, if you abbreviate it, they abbreviate to the same thing.
What?
Because Trapped in the Shadows and This Is the Sound.
Oh.
But the Cellar Darling is basically three of the ex-members from a band called, and they're decently popular, I just don't know how to pronounce the band's name. It's like Iluvatai or something like that. They're like folk death metal. But this is basically all folk rock metal kind of stuff. It's really good. Really long album. I didn't realize quite how long this album was, but it definitely surprised me with how good it was. It was very, very good. Female singer, which is really cool. But let's see, there's 17 songs on this album. But let's see, Avalanche is good, Black Moon, Hullabaloo, Fire, Wind, and Earth, Under the Oak Tree, and High Above These Crowns, and then Hedonia. And then the bonus tracks, there's a cover of Mad World, which is awesome. And then there's a cover of a Queen song. I had a Queen song I'd never heard of, the Prophet song, which is actually really good. In fact, and I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for this, but I prefer this to the Queen version. And I did listen to the Queen version after this. But another really fun fact about this band is the singer plays the hurdy-gurdy, which is just an instrument that I only ever heard of once. But, you know, really, really good album. I was actually really surprised by how good this one was. Really cool. If you like folk rock metal, definitely check them out. They're good. Then we go on to a band I've seen live before at Prog Power. Actually, the year Crystal went with me. They actually opened one day. And she really likes these guys. So I also got this for her because this would complete their discography again. It's actually Van Gogh, and this is their newest album, Warpaint. You know, I've been meaning to get this CD since it came out back in March, but I never did. And then she moved in with me, so I'm like, well, I have to get this album now because she really likes Van Gogh. She actually has 2 of their albums. I now have 3. Well, I now have all of them technically. So did she, if you think about it. But now I'm going to say, after listening to their other 3 albums,
I like the... Oh, wait, you go for it.
I definitely prefer the 2 albums before this one, Between the Madness and Kingdom of Ruin, better. This one actually disappointed me a lot. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't seem like the mixing didn't seem all that great to me. But there were a couple good songs on here. Nell is good, and Till Nothing's Left, I believe, was the other one that I liked.
Morphine's really good.
It's all right. It didn't particularly.
liked it.
It's fine. But Van Gogh's pretty good. I guess this album was kind of written after their last album didn't do as good as the lead singer and guitarist did wanted it to or thought it would. So he kind of got frustrated. So the lack of quality might just be him not caring as much, or him just being tired and just being, I'm doing this my way. I don't know. Probably maybe listen to it again to see if maybe it sounds better a second time. I don't know. Cool to have. I do like how pretty much all of their albums have rabbits on them. Almost. Like at least this one and the first two. I believe Between the Madness doesn't have rabbits.
Yeah,
the other
like
two
an eye
do.
and stuff.
Yeah. So it's cool though. But we go on to another prog power band, and it's a band that's right in the middle of the run on, I think, Saturday. They're either Friday or Saturday. I don't remember. But this is actually a band called Soen, or Soen. I don't know how you want to pronounce it, but it's Soen. This cover is trippy, and then it just gets more trippy if you open it. But I had actually heard of these guys before, because they played like Prog Power Europe and stuff. But basically this band, it's essentially, I don't really want to call it a supergroup, but it's musicians that are also members of a bunch of different extreme metal bands. So there's like an ex-drummer for Opeth, or an ex-member of Opeth, and then some other bands that I can't really remember right now. So I was like, okay, so it's a prog metal / rock album from a bunch of crazy extreme metal musicians. That ought to be interesting. And the sound clip sounded cool. As soon as I put this CD in, though, I felt like I was listening to a Tool album, and I did some research, and apparently this is the first album. This is their first album, Cognitive. Their new one, which came out this year, I don't know if it just got bought up a bunch after they were announced for Prog Power, but like I couldn't find it for a decent price anywhere. So maybe I'll try to find it again, but yeah, I basically picked this up, and it sounds like their earlier stuff does sound a lot like Tool. Like, you can tell that they are heavily influenced by Tool from this album. And I actually read an interview from them basically saying that they don't consider Tool a band. They consider them a genre in their own, which, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand, because Tool does have a definitely unique sound to them. And it's a band I haven't definitely listened to a lot of, but I've been meaning to check out Tool for a long time, so I'll have to definitely check out Tool, because this album didn't disappoint me. Well, I mean, it disappointed me in the sense that I expected different, but it ended up being a good album. Let's see, songs on here. Fractions, everything's spelled funny. Fractions, Oscillation, Purpose. Yeah, it's definitely, it sounds like Tool. A lot of people were saying their later stuff, they kind of came in their own, so I'll see how that works out when I buy the other ones, because I'm definitely going to try to listen to more of these guys if I can find them. But really neat album. I love this artwork. It's really trippy. Even the artwork makes me think Tool, man.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw this album, I'm like, am I looking at a Tool album? Or maybe it was after I heard the music. I'm like, oh, well, that explains why the album looks like this. But decent album. Unfortunately, quite a few of these, my girlfriend didn't listen to it with me. So more of the Wacken ones, actually, she did. But really cool. Then I can actually say we go on to one of my favorite CDs I've listened to in a while. Because it's a band I've been meaning to check out for a long time. Because I know Glenn from Prog Power really likes these guys. And they were actually announced for Thursday night next year. So I'm definitely, they were probably the band I'm... the newest band to me that I'm most excited for. And that is actually King Crow. This is their newest album, Eidos. They're actually an Italian prog metal band, and Italy is more well known for like power metal and stuff, so it's interesting to see a prog metal band from there. This album blew me away. I don't know, this album was just so good. I definitely need to buy more of these guys' stuff too. Unfortunately, only their album before this is a reasonable price that I could find anywhere. I mean, it sounds like you can message them on their website and buy the other ones, but we'll see. how much that cost me. But albums on here that are, or songs on here that are really good. The Moth, Adrift, Open Sky, and at the same pace, Idos. You know, there's some pretty good albums, pretty good songs on this album. Definitely want to check these guys out more. It's really, really solid music. Really, really, really good album. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Can't wait to see these guys in Atlanta. It's gonna be a trip. Then we go on to another CD I actually got in Germany, and we actually have another Arjen Lucassen album, or made album. This is actually Star One, his space metal little project that he did that was kind of in the same vein as Ayreon, but just basically essentially space, and he just used a couple different singers. But this is the first album, Space Metal. This is actually the only album I got in Germany that I could have gotten for a really reasonable price here. All these other ones were really hard to find. But this was another album that actually really surprised me. I didn't really know what to expect. I was kind of expecting to get disappointed, honestly, with this album, but I didn't. It ended up being just as good as I was hoping from it. But unfortunately, it doesn't have the track listing on the back, but it has Russell Allen from Symphony X, Damian Wilson from Threshold, Floor Jansen from After Forever and Nightwish Now, Dan Swano from Nightingale, and he's also done some like death metal, and Robert Soderbergh, who did early Ayreon things. And then, I mean, Arjen did a lot of the music, but it also has Ed Warby, who is his drummer on Ayreon, Jens Johansson from Stradivarius. Can't remember what Eric Norlander's from right now. I think it might be After Forever or something. And then Gary Workhamp from Shadow Gallery, which is really cool. Here we go. The track listing is actually on the inside of the booklet. But let's see. Liftoff, Set Your Controls, High Noon, Songs of the Ocean, Intergalactic Space Crusaders is really good, and Star Child. But basically, all of these songs are about different like sci-fi series. So there's like a song based on Stargate, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Dune. I can't remember what else right now, but
Star Wars?
I don't think there was a Star Wars. Yes, there was a Star Wars one. Excuse me, there was. But this album definitely was really, really good. I'll have to get the other one because there's only two. I don't know if there's any plans to ever do this again. But really good album. Really nice and really cool to have. Then we go on to a new album from a band. This has been out for a little while. Only about a month or so when I bought this. But it's a new album from a band that me and Crystal actually saw together too. When she saw us. This is the New Orden Ogan, Gunmen. I don't really know what to say about this album other than the fact that it completely blew me away. I honestly think this might be their best album. Because there isn't a song on this album I didn't like. They were all amazing. Gunman is incredible. Vampire and Ghost Town, Come With Me Together. They're all good. The only song that I would consider even remotely close to mediocre is track 8, Down Here, Wanted Dead or Alive. Otherwise, they're all insane. They all, oh man, I love this album so much. It is so good. I need to listen to their other ones now, like all of them, to see if I don't know, maybe it was the mood I was in that day, but like this album was amazing. This is a band I really, really like, and I always anticipate new releases from them, so it's really cool to see that they're definitely increasing in quality every release, in my opinion, so it's really, really good. Can't wait for more stuff from these guys. I really hope that I get to see them again here. That would be awesome, because they put on a really, really good show. Then we go on to more CDs. Actually, the rest of these albums are basically a couple different bands and multiple CDs from those bands. We'll start off here with two Germany albums, two CDs I bought in Germany. and they are the Gathering, and they're both really hard to find in America. So I made a really good choice buying these. More particularly this first one than the second one, but I got two of their albums actually. First up, we have How to Measure a Planet, and I guess since there's a question mark, it would be How to Measure a Planet. So now it's two CDs. First of all, this is considered one of their more popular albums. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure why, because I think I like the first album I got of theirs, Home, better. But there's a couple good songs on these two discs. Like I think Liberty Bell was pretty good, probably built in the 50s. South American Ghost Ride was alright. But what's really interesting about this is the fifth song on the second disc, is How to Measure a Planet, or How to Measure a Planet, is like a 28-minute song that the last like 10 minutes are ambient noise. And that's what Crystal was talking about when she said she got really annoyed by the ambient noise, because it's really bad. It's 10 minutes of ambient noise, and I don't understand exactly what the purpose of that is. But this is considered their most like well-known album. And it kind of disappointed me, honestly. But the other album I got of theirs was a later album. It's called Souvenirs, and believe it or not, this thing, the title is actually a sticker, and that's kind of weird. It's like a sticker on the cover of the CD. Like you can, it's weird.
Oh, is that part of the... No, not that. I thought this was a sticker too.
Oh, okay. But again, this one probably wasn't as good as Home, but there's a couple of good songs on here.
Wait.
What?
Before you say anything.
Yeah. For some reason, the track listing is this way. Even the Spirits Are Afraid. Souvenirs is good, but I'm really getting this band CDs because Anneke van Giersberen, if I'm butchering a Dutch name, but she was the singer for this band, and I really wanted to check them out. But unfortunately, I'm getting kind of disappointed. But I've heard that their first album with her, Mandelion, I think is how it's pronounced, is supposed to be really good, and it's more metal than anything. So, maybe I'll get that eventually. But both of these were hard to find. So reoccurring themes, I made some good purchases there. But then we go on to a band that I don't know, I've grown to become quite fond of in the last few months, because there's a few albums here. There's three of these. There's four total. Three of them I bought in Germany, and one of them I just bought recently here this last month, just to complete the realistically accessible CDs that I could find. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the last album of theirs that I need in Germany or anything. But it's actually Powerwolf. These guys played in Germany when I was there, and they were incredible. And I don't know what it is about their music, but they just sound so unique to me. But first of all, I got four albums, like I said, but we start off with their first album, Return in Blood Red. This was released in 2008, I believe. This is a re-release from 2014. But this is their first album before they quite hit their stride, so it's okay. I wouldn't say it's great, but there's, let's see, We Came to Take Your Souls is pretty good. Black Mass Hysteria was pretty good, but otherwise it wasn't too impressive, honestly, to me. But this album you cannot find anywhere. I couldn't find it even online on like eBay or from their website or anything around here. So the fact that this was the only one my dad was missing. So we were both able to get this album. So that's really cool, because this is like really hard to find pretty much anywhere. So really good to have, even though it's even a mediocre CD, but still really cool. Then I also got, in Germany, their third album. I am missing their second one. It is the only one I'm missing. This is their third album, Bible of the Beast. And this is where they started getting... I haven't heard their second album, but this is where they started getting really good. Let's see, we flip this one over. First off, we Raise Your Fist Evangelist is pretty good. Let's see, Moscow After Dark. Werewolves of Armenia was pretty good. And then what I honestly think is one of my favorite songs right now, and easily their best song, Resurrection by Erection.
Oh.
Now, every like other album, they'll do a ridiculous song that has something like sexual about it, and they're just hilarious. And I mean, just the title of the song is Resurrection by Erection. It is a ridiculous song, but so catchy, and you just want to sing it every time it comes on. And they actually played that song live, which is pretty great. But still, I think this album's decent, but it's not their best. But yeah, this is another one that was really hard to find. I looked it up on the internet, and it was pretty expensive. So this was another smart purchase in my book. So really cool. But then we got the follow-up album. This is the only one I didn't get in Germany. I just bought this one recently because it was the only one I could buy. And that is Blood of the Saints. And this is
Is that really wolves?
yeah,
Like,
Power Wolf. There's a wolf.
no, I mean like.
The only albums that don't have a wolf on them are this one, and I think Blessed and Possessed. No, it's just Bible the Beast is the only one without a wolf on it. But
It's like, what is that, the Pope?
I don't know. It's Pope, like it's like wolf priest or wolf archbishops and the Pope or something. I don't know. But this album is actually really good. Let's see. I really like Sanctified with Dynamite, We Drink Your Blood, Murder at Midnight, Dead Boys Don't Cry, Son of a Wolf, Die Crucified. Yeah, there's some pretty good songs on this album. Would I call it their best? No, but this was definitely very, very good. The more I listen to these guys, the more I can't wait for them to make more stuff. So, unfortunately, they've never come to America, and for some reason, Glenn from Prog Power has tried to get them for the last like 8 years, and they keep saying no. So I don't know what
They
they're
just
doing.
don't like touring in America?
They've never done it. You can't dislike something without doing it. I think they have something. I don't know if it's like management or like corporate, or if it's them just refusing to come here. I think that's kind of messed up though. But
Where are they from?
Germany. No,
Oh.
yes. I think they are German actually. But then we have the album before Blessed and Possessed. This is Preachers of the Night. This is actually a special edition. Now I could have bought this for a decent price as well here, but you know it had like a bonus disc, so I was like, whatever, I don't really care. Plus it's Powerwolf. But let's see, this album is pretty damn good. I like it a lot. Amen and Attack is good. Coela Sanctus, another one of them graphic songs that's really fun, that roughly translates to Holy Balls. So if you want to guess what that song might be about. Sacred and Wild is really good. Cardinal Sin, In the Name of God. And then, yeah, Last of the Living Dead. And then the bonus disc is just a couple of songs from this album with like just in the symphony form, like no vocals, nothing. It's just all like the whole symphony. And then there's really cool.
Oh, it's like a little book.
Yeah, there's a little book. That's the whole band, for the record. This is the entire band. So they all wear this weird white face paint. But they're funny. They're definitely really entertaining. I can say that on stage. Yeah, they're really great. But this is I'm missing one album of theirs. But a little bit of a spoiler that I probably shouldn't tell because I know this. It will be in the next collection update. That will be explained when that happens. So, but really cool band. I really like these guys a lot. Then we move on to another band finally. And a band I've wanted to actually check out more CDs of theirs. But a lot of their CDs, basically all but their last one and maybe the one before that, maybe, I think, are just like, you can't really get them for a good price in America. And it's actually After Forever, the first band from Floor Jansen, who sings for Nightwish now. I got 2 CDs of theirs. First up, we have the first one, the very first After Forever. This is Prison of Desire. Now, this when I listen to this album, I'm like, wow, this sounds a lot like Epica. And then remembered that the guy who basically started Epica was originally in After Forever and left after like the second or third After Forever album, and then created Epica. So that makes sense. This album actually disappointed me a little bit because there's a lot of screams in it, and it doesn't really utilize Floor as much as I think they could. I think there were a couple good songs in here, like Silence from Afar, and Ephemeral was decent, but this was a really hard to find album in America, so I had to pick this up. There were a couple more After Forever CDs, I think, in the little sections from the CD shops at Vakken. I wish I had picked them up, but I didn't. But so the other album I got is actually the album before the first one I got, so it was difficult to find as well in this area. But it's actually Reimagine, and this sounds a lot like the self-titled album that I had already had. So I was like, yes, I actually might like this album a little bit better than that. But let's see, let's see. Songs on here I like: Come, Boundaries Are Open, Free of Doubt, Strong,
Come.
Face Your Demons, Forever. And then there's apparently a bonus DVD with a documentary making of thing. Now, it's really cool to get two After Forever albums because they're really hard to come by around here. But fun fact about something to do with this band is a couple months ago, I believe it was before Crystal moved originally, I believe, the guy that basically runs Prog Power, the promoter Glenn, was doing a massive CD giveaway of a bunch of his CDs that he didn't want anymore, and it was a Facebook giveaway, and it was like, okay, first person to comment me gets this batch for whatever, and I ended up getting the After Forever batch. And I was really excited by that because I was like, yes, it was like $15 for like, I think it was like 4 CDs and an EP. And I think one of these albums was in that. But they sent it and then it got lost in the frickin' mail. So basically, I never got the CDs. I did get my money back, thankfully. But I basically lost out on some really rare CDs because the stupid mail... according to Glenn's wife, who was the one I was communicating with, either the label got damaged or torn or something, or water damaged. So to my knowledge, they didn't even get it back. They didn't even get it sent back to them. So it got completely lost in the mail, which is a freaking joke. I'm actually really mad about that.
Well, first of all, to me, I don't see why they wouldn't put like tracking on the mail for CDs like that.
They did.
And
there was a tracking number.
You couldn't check?
I did, and it said it got basically the tracking said, because I checked it when you first moved, and it basically said cannot be delivered or something like that. Or something like that. Like it didn't even get out of Georgia or something. And so I messaged Glenn's wife because she was running the whole thing, and she's like, okay, let me contact the post office, and she basically passed on the information I just said, where the label had to have been damaged in some way. So they're like, here, we're going to refund you the money, and if it comes back to us, we'll give you the option to buy it again. And I'm like, cool. And I never heard back from them, and I never saw a posting on the Facebook group basically saying it was for sale. So it never came back to them, which is a joke. So I lost out. I wonder how pissed off Glenn was. I wish I could have asked him this year at Prog Power. Like, hey, I bought your After Forever CDs, but then they got lost in the mail. How does that make you feel? No, I wouldn't have said it like that. But, really cool to have these CDs. I'll definitely try to find some After Forever somewhere, but I doubt I can get the rest of their albums. And then finally, to close out this video, we have 2 more CDs from basically considered one of the titans and founders of the power metal genre. Honestly, these 2 CDs I probably could have gotten for... I think actually one of them went up in price since I originally looked around here, but originally I could get them both for a decent price. It's Helloween, and it's their 2 most popular albums. I had to pick them up while I was in Germany. It's Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1 and Part 2. This is basically, to a lot of people, this is the first true European power metal albums. Like an album as a whole, I guess, if you want to put them together. But This is where Michael Kiske first showed up, who is hands down one of the best singers I've ever heard. Now, honestly, Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 is okay. It's really short. It's only like a half an hour long. Like, I'm Alive is okay. Halloween, which is 13 minutes long. Those are the only really decent songs on here. Part 2 is definitely better, and it's a lot longer. Eagle Fly Free, We Got the Right, March of Time, I Want Out, which is probably their most popular song, and then The Keeper of the Seven Keys, which is another 13-minute song. But no, both, it's really cool to finally have two classic and essential power metal albums, and have more Halloween for that matter. But technically there is a third part to this story with their newer singer, but I didn't bother buying that yet. I'll probably pick it up at some point, definitely, because I really want to get more of these guys. But really cool to have these, because, it's Halloween. Like I said, it's Halloween and they're classics. Both really good, and I know Crystal really likes the singer, too. I don't know what she thought of these albums, though. If she even remembers. No, she doesn't. So, she doesn't have a lot to say. Unfortunately, apparently this section, she didn't have a lot to say about stuff. But yeah, really cool to have these. Yeah, Germany was definitely something else, going to Germany. Wacken, 80,000 people, it's pretty crazy. The food was amazing in Germany. But there were actually some CDs in Germany I wish I would have gotten that I didn't. Like the first two Blind Guardians, I was able to find there, and they're basically incredibly hard to find around here. Thankfully, it looks like they are getting re-released here soon, so I can get them for a decent price eventually. I did also find the first two Angel Dusts, because those are out of print around here. But that's about it on the stuff I wish I would have bought.
Bought?
Yeah, in Germany. So,
Sorry.
But that's it for my collection update. There will be one eventually, because there is actually still one CD I bought that I'm waiting for, but it came from basically the other side of the planet, and so it's going to take a while to get here. There's a game coming out this month and 2 more next month, so depending on what I get this month, there may be one at the end of the month. I'm going to try, and don't hold me to this because I'm terrible at this, but I'm going to try to have the videos up on the 1st of every month if I do a collection video, or the 1st of the month, period. But I'm really bad at that, this being an example, and older videos. But I will do my best. But that's it for this video. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this, because this is a bit of a long one. Definitely. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.